All right. So today's been pretty good for me in terms of venting and things of that nature. I made 2 videos earlier. I really had fun with that, and currently it just seems like I still have more stuff that I don't think everybody's really putting out there enough in terms of current situations that happen. My first video was about the Black Lives Matter movie, the first 2 videos. In terms of this one, it'll be more focused towards just minorities versus law enforcement, period. So the whole way that this was kind of sparked in terms of my idea for making this video, I saw that they have this petition because they were going to rename a street in Texas after Miss Bland, and at the same time there was a police officer in Texas who was shot, and now they're petitioning to have the street named after the police officer as opposed to Miss Bland. So for one thing, it's petty. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there from the get-go. That's something really petty to do. I mean, if you really would like that police officer to have a street, just choose a different street and have them rename them. There's millions of streets. Why do you have to directly go after one that has such an emotional impact on such a large group of people? I feel like that's just adults being petty. Oh, I see y'all want to name something after that black lady in the news, so we're just going to go after it and say, instead, let's name it after this person, when we can both have what we want. Why not just rename 2 streets? You know, I'm pretty sure it's fairly possible to just rename 2 streets. But that's not even the entire topic. I don't want to talk for about 10 to 15 minutes about people who are stupid enough to fixate on being that spiteful. But reading through the petition itself, it goes across this ideology that, oh well, nowadays, due to the biased media, is making policemen targets and things of this nature, and it's starting to be hard for law enforcement and blah blah blah. So okay, on one degree, I would say I'm pretty sure that's true. It probably is a lot harder for law enforcement. So that's a fact. But on the other end, I'm going to say it's karma. Because after a certain amount of times when you do something wrong, people should look at you crazy. That's not something that's unheard of. That's not something that's simply due to the media trying to demonize policemen. I mean, when you really think about it, police brutality has carried on for decades, like almost to the point of saying it's never ended. It's not something that ever went away. The only difference is people couldn't record them. So it would basically be passed by word of mouth to people who will eventually just shrug it off and say, okay, well, you're crazy. But now, since we got iPhones and Samsungs and all the rest of that stuff that can record it in great quality, it does put them on the spot when there's something done that shouldn't be happening. Now, am I saying that's a reason to go out there and shoot somebody to death just because they're wearing a police uniform? No, because some police officers actually do their job, and that's just a fact. I know some people not going to like me saying that either, but that's just the fact of the matter. Some police do wake up every day. They do their job. They do what needs to be done. They're the thin line between complete chaos and an orderly society. And for those people, I'm deeply thankful. And I personally think if the society as a whole understood what you do for us, they would be a lot more thankful too. So I want to go ahead and ask for a little pass because I'm about to go in on the rest of your partners. The whole way that this got to be what it is because people decided that they have a badge and that makes them better than other people. Just just to put that into perspective, think about a lot of the things that you see these policemen do. Like, I happen to be from New Orleans, so our police out there are especially aggressive. So when you have a policeman that's that aggressive and he's hemming people up on a car and he's talking da 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 and blah 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 blah, you're gonna have all the apologists come out and all the D-riders for the police come out and say, oh well, that guy's just doing his job because it's rough, it's tough out there in that city. Well, one thing that I would challenge you on: take all of these situations of police brutality that I'm pretty sure you don't think is police brutality, and imagine if a person did it outside of the uniform. You know, like even with the thing with Sandra Bland, if an average everyday guy outside of uniform just walked up to her car and decided to demand she put out her cigarette, which she bought in a car which she owns, on public property in the middle of the street, you know, and just demands, okay, you put out your cigarette right now. She says no. Gets a little bit argumentative because somebody's trying to deprive her of a right given to her by the state. She can smoke wherever she feels like it. However, if it was in a police car, different situation. If it was in a police station, different situation. If it was in the police's house, different situation. I could even see if she was like taking the longest drag on a cigarette ever and blowing smoke into the cop's face in hopes that he would get cancer. Different situation. Intent means a lot. In this one, she was obviously stressed out because she got a ticket over something as silly as not signaling. Like, let's face it, the whole traffic stop wasn't necessary. The guy was obviously picking with her. So you have scenarios like that, and you start to think, yeah, if you was just a regular guy on the street, you would be an idiot. That would be how I would define you. You would be an idiot. I would call you stupid. I'm pretty sure collectively people would understand that something is not exactly working correctly in your head when you converse with people like that on an issue so simple. I mean, it could have been just as simple as, okay, well, you're not going to put out your cigarette. You're definitely going to get this ticket now. You hand her the ticket. You walk back to the car. Job well done. You got your revenge. Everything's fine. Instead, you take it a step higher because you have a badge. You know, you decide, oh, well, you can't tell me no, even if by the law you can tell me no. So he escalates it beyond that. Get out of the car. He's yelling at her. He's threatening with a taser and all the rest of that. Just imagine if you saw your neighbor and his girlfriend arguing that way. I mean, for, I would say 100% of people, they would say, well, that's crazy as hell. Nobody should be talking to each other like that. For at least a certain percentage of people, that would be enough to make them call the police to try to get that lady some help. Dig that. A situation that the police escalated would probably be the cause of somebody calling the police. And this is like one of the big gripes and complaints in minority communities, not even just African American, and in many situations just communities that are impoverished. You know, poor white people can probably tell you the same thing. You know, now it disproportionately affects minorities, but it does affect white people too. I'm not going to tell you it's only minorities, or it's only Spanish people, or it's only black people. It's a lot of us in there. And it kind of puts people in the mindset that it has to be us versus them. You know, and when these police show up, it's like something off the Hunger Games. You know, you don't get to talk back to them. You don't get to do anything. You pretty much have to forfeit all of your rights as a human being until they leave. They get to do whatever it is they want. And that's pretty much what everybody gets, that attitude there. Now, when it comes down to minorities, there's a different layer. Now, brace yourself, people that don't believe in white privilege. It exists. And let me explain to you some of the dynamics of it. it starts on a subconscious level. I don't want to appear that these are the type of people that you saw in Django Unchained that are just blatantly racist. I don't think there's very many police like that, although there is a lot of them. I'm not going to say that's the majority of them. For the vast majority of them, it's implicit. It's instinctive. It's not something that they actually think of, although it is something that they perceive when they see a minority. So, let's explain a little situation. Let's say I'm out on Bourbon Street. Take me and another Caucasian person, and let's mirror the same situation. So the same situation for myself and a Caucasian counterpart. Go out on the street, Bourbon Street, drinking, having fun. Maybe I get a little bit belligerent, having fun, get a little bit unorderly. One step goes to another, the police have to be called. Let's say this happens at the exact same time, just in different parts of the street. Now, the police pulls up, sees the white guy. Okay, he's drunk, he might be cursing, maybe he just shoved a person or two, whatever the scenario might be. Things get a little bit crazy when you start to get drugs involved and all you want to do is have fun, So, you have that scenario there. That cop shows up. And this is one of the things that registers that I'm pretty sure you didn't think about. When that cop shows up, he's going to see that white guy and he's going to think, damn, like if he's a white man himself, damn, I remember nights like that, but he don't have to go that far. I think I can change his mind. I think I can calm him down. He just had one too many. He probably just tripping because he's been in the club for too long. Or maybe he'll think, that reminds me of my stupid son, or my little nephew, or my cousin, or a best friend of mine that always over drinks and over talks and things of this nature. He's going to filter through all of the different reference material he has on his race and accredit it to what that person does. He's going to use that to define the situation, because that's what people do. You see things and you think of it through this funnel of relativity. When he sees this white guy, he's thinking, something like me. I don't think you're actually dangerous. I'm pretty sure I know it's just the drinks. You're not naturally like this. Now, you flip over to me, and that exact same cop or another cop that might be a white male will probably think, this is a belligerent black guy. This situation can escalate quickly. We don't know what he's going to do. I don't have any white kids. I don't have any black kids. I've never been black. All I've known is what I've seen of them on the news. They can get crazy. They can get dangerous. I've been taught this growing up. I've seen it in rap videos. I've seen it in certain movies. The black guy is always the aggressive one. I need to put him down now. And then, boom, I get the Tamir Rice treatment. Or they give me the John Crawford special. Or, of course, I get the lovely drive that they gave Freddie Gray after they beat the hell out of me like they did Eric Gardner. Because there is no reference for me in their mind. They don't think far enough to say, despite the fact that this person is a different color, we really do share that experience in common. We still all drink. That's what makes the difference between somebody who racially profiles and someone who doesn't. The ability to perceive a situation despite what color that person is. Now, when you have somebody with a badge and power, it creates a different dynamic, because now this person has the right to make a life or death situation on myself and everybody else that he encounters. He could end my life, and chances are he will not go to jail for it. If something happens while he's out there and he feels at the least bit threatened, he can just skip his taser, skip trying to talk to me, skip trying to subdue me despite the fact that I'm unarmed, skip every other method of de-escalation and go straight to shooting me to death. This is what makes the difference. This is what's going to leave a deep gap between the treatment that is deserved and the treatment that is received. And this is what creates your bad publicity. Like one of the things it says is, oh, these are brave men and women, and now they walk around with targets on, with targets on their back, of course, metaphorically, because of what the news says and all the rest of that stuff. No, it's not because of what the news says. It's because of what you did. The news said it because you did it. They didn't make it up. It happened. Trayvon Martin, John Crawford, Tamir Rice, Eric Gardner, the one-legged guy, I believe that was in New York, who had somewhere around 10 to 11 police come out there to subdue him despite the fact that he had one leg. You know, things of that nature, shooting people's dog to death, beating the hell out of them on the side of the street, punt kicking people in the face. That's not something the news made up. That's something the police did. So based on that, no, don't say it's because of the biased news. No, say it's because of the biased police that did it. Because if they didn't do it, you can't report it. Or of course, when you did, people would just say, well, hey, that's untrue. Which is not the situation we're in. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still situations where people scream, oh, it's racist, it's racist, it's racist, and it's not actually racist. You're going to have your lazy people that just want to use that token to get free stuff or to get leeway. In terms of them, what you'll see is a growing trend when I make these videos. I do not count these people because they're on both ends of the spectrum. There's white people like that, there's Pakistani people like that, there's black people like that, there's Argentinians like that, there's Canadians like that, Alaskans, and so on and so forth. That stupid is a very, very prominent disease. It attacks everybody equally. It does not care about your race. It does not care about your educational background. Stupidity, it's very crafty. So when it comes down to people like that, I just don't count them. It's like counting a negative number. Why would you do it? You know nothing's good going to come from it. So why even confront the idea or acknowledge it within a whole? Because they're so pointless. But yeah, when you take all this into account and you realize these people, this group of people who show up on a daily basis armed, who can call more people who are armed just like them in a second's notice, descend down upon you and put you to death right then and there. You understand why now we have to look at you like you're a target too. The same way you look at us, as a matter of fact. And that's what I think is crazy. On one end, you have these people on the police bandwagon saying, oh yeah, well, now you're making our men of the law, their job is even more dangerous now because people think they have to kill them. Well, here's the thing. If you didn't think you had to kill me, I wouldn't feel that way about you, homie. You know, like I don't label anybody like that. You know, I don't wake up every day just picking people out of a crowd and saying, you might kill me, you might kill me, you might kill me. I'm going to keep my gun for you. No, somebody has to do something to warrant that belief, or at least to warrant a level of action. Even if you just wanted to think about it that way, think about it that way, keep it to yourself, and notice this is just an idea in your head. Just because you think it does not mean it exists. So, as a whole, it's like, when you have people like that in such alarming numbers like they do, you become an occupying force. It's like a foreign military that they put into these different neighborhoods, and they just say, oh, well, you're supposed to trust them because they're the police. Well, that sounds great. That really sounds great. Until I call them to help me and they shoot me. Or until somebody calls them on me because I just happen to be sitting in a specific area and they actually tell me off and beat the hell out of me, and before I know it, I'm in jail. Or maybe something's going on that I don't think is right. So I start to voice my opinion and use good old freedom of speech just like everybody else does. And you take me to jail for disorderly conduct, despite the fact that I was just speaking my opinion. Or even worse, he beat the hell out of me and then he take me to jail. So yes, this is why they're being looked at as a target. It's not because, oh, it's just because the news. It's just because the news. If it wasn't for the news, which is probably true, until you think about the fact that word of mouth travels pretty fast too. And if you have people that are treating people unfairly for this long, with that much power behind them, eventually somebody's going to start a movement. How many people did you think that was Peggy Hubbard's question, as a matter of fact. Shout out Peggy. Yeah, I actually saw that petition off of your page. I guess I just like picking on you now. But yeah, one of the questions that she had was, well, how many people did you think it was going to take before they caught you? The same question goes to police. How many people did you think you were going to kill and not be charged for before people started to catch on? You're not all that good. Or at least not all of you. Of course, there are some of you that are good. But till people start to catch on, maybe I should not trust all of you just because you have that badge. Maybe I should think twice before I work with you, because you may be a potential danger to me, especially if I'm broke and colored. So yeah, how long did you think that was going to go on before people started to think twice about dealing with you? And it's not like this is the way people want it to be. You know, it's not like NWA made all those songs about police because they liked to feud with them. You know, of course it would be 1,000 times better if we could actually depend on you. That's why gang members get into gangs, because they want to find people they can trust that have their back in the middle of a struggle. Well, that's what you're supposed to be, policemen. For the ones of you that are, you're perfect. We couldn't ask for better. Please keep on waking up every day. You know, if there's anything that I can do to help somebody like that, it's only a mere question of how to get it done. But for the rest of those people that just abuse that, with their egos and everything else, you got Officer Rosalot, case bought in McKinney, Texas, who feels the need to pin down middle schoolers, middle school women. Now, once again, answer me this question, for those of y'all who think we should have no grudge against police, that police always do their job all the time, there's no such thing as black privilege or police brutality, and we're just overdoing things. Imagine if you saw Case Ball outside of uniform, waving his gun in a crowd of children and putting young women in wrestling moves. Would you not call the police on him? Would that not make you want to step in and stop him? Would that not at least give you enough of a reason to say, damn, that's messed up? It seems different now, doesn't it? So yeah, that's pretty much my whole view on just America versus policing / minorities versus policing, and the problems for both sides won't stop until something happens with the police. And I know some people say, oh, well, why do they have to do it? Their job is hard enough already. Well, it's kind of like the job of being the older brother. You have to be the bigger man when you have the most power. As the police, you have to. You don't get to be the immature one. If that's what you want to be, then you shouldn't pick the job. Don't pick the job unless you love it. You know, if you say you really love justice, then do that. You know, and we'll love you for it. We'll repay you for it. As a matter of fact, we pay you for it with tax dollars. So, you know, as a whole, it just has to be fixed. That's really the only solution. It has to be fixed on the behalf of the police, and then everybody else will follow suit. In these places where they got body cams, they believe in serving the public as a policeman instead of opposing the public as an occupying force. You know, in places like that, they love the police love them back. You know, there's little to no reason to complain about them. I can bet you're far less likely to hear F the police by NWA out there than you are in places like New Orleans or Ferguson or Compton or New York or something of that nature. It's all based off of their action. And yeah, it does seem top heavy, but think about the fact that one side can kill the other and not go to jail. And now you can see why that side has to be the first person to step up. But either way, thank you for listening. Peace.